All right, we are back, and you are back at your good timing.
You said his name and he appeared.
Did.
All right, fellas. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the return of Becky Lynch, or should I say, Becky Hogan is what people are calling her in the IWC. What did you guys think about her returning and winning the tag team championships like that after taking 2 bumps and being gone for so long?
I could. Becky's fine, but I didn't need her. Like it could have been one of the badass NXT girls that stepped up for Lyra. It could have been. I don't need to see Becky again, like anytime soon. She was like, I guess she was the best wrestler coming out of the 4 horsewomen, but I preferred Bayley.
Second best. She was the most popular.
Yeah. But
Did we ever find out why Bayley got pulled out?
She got hurt, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Must have got hurt training or something. What about you, Draven?
I was happy to see Becky. I'm not going to lie. I also called it.
Yeah, you did.
Let me make that clear. I called that shit.
Yeah, you did.
I won $20 on that one.
Very nice.
I also said when we found out it was Becky that I was like, they're going to win the titles. And you looked at me, he's like, why? I was like, you know what? I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I know politics.
Yeah, true.
I was also fucking 4 deep into a fucking party pack, so leave me the fuck alone. The match itself kind of felt discombobulated. I will say the rematch last night felt 100% better, and I wish that was the match we saw.
Yeah.
Actually, I can say that about a lot of the matches on Raw last night. I mean, they had a good Raw after Mania. Let's be real. It was really
a lot of
good.
people said the Raw after Mania was better than WrestleMania. I was like, oh my god.
That's kind of crazy, but
I would say it's as good if you take night 1 and night 2 and like just look at it as a whole. The only way this made sense for me is exactly what happened last night. If we want to go ahead and jump into that now, we can. If not,
no, I think we have to explain the.
All right, so last night we had the rematch for the Women's Tag Team Championships, which why the fuck they have a Women's Tag Team division is beyond me. Becky lost with Lyra, so Liv and Raquel are a 4-time Tag Team Champion, which fuck whatever. But the fact that we have an established veteran now going around as a heel, I think is going to help the women's division.
Yeah.
Because Bayley's not going to be it. Bayley's too over as a babyface at this point. I just don't want them to basically give her the Hollywood Hogan treatment. Don't make her this unbeatable war machine, because let's be fucking real. She's 5'4", 5'5".
She's tiny. Yeah.
She's 120 pounds when she's soaking wet with a bodysuit.
Yeah.
She is not that viable of a threat. She is not 2017 Becky Lynch.
No.
She's not that badass anymore. She's working off that legacy. For me, you had a better chance of putting Chelsea Green in that fucking slot and telling me that she was a fucking badass than fucking Becky Lynch at this point.
Yeah, I mean it. And you know, I'm now convinced that this was not how the match was going to go last night if Bayley stayed in the match.
Mm-hmm.
I think they put Liv and Raquel together for this title reign to keep Liv from being in the main event scene, like temporarily. Give her something to do that's important while she's not in the main event scene.
And it keeps her away from Rhea.
Right.
So we don't need that right now.
So I don't think they would have lost the law. So like you said, it had to have been politics. They were probably like, hey, can you do this? You don't have to work that hard, whatever,
X amount of dates, X amount of money.
And she was probably like, I got to win a title.
I mean, she's at that point in her career. She can do that.
I don't know why
she's not getting the Hogan treatment. She's getting the Charlotte Flair treatment. Becky is.
She's getting the Triple H treatment.
Because, like, I mean, isn't that why people hate Charlotte so much?
No, I hate her because she's a mutant. Well, she didn't sweat.
Yeah, that's something nobody's
70,000 people in that arena sweat. One lizard did not.
She had no sweat on her face the entire match.
What happens when you're an athlete? A great athlete.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Logan Paul.
Yeah. Let's bring Samoa Joe on here and you fucking say that.
No, I think this was all supposed to happen, but not right now. I think the fact that Bayley got injured kind of made them like call an audible and be like, okay, we have these plans in action. We have to do this now. So that's why they did the whole hot potato thing with the belts, and they took it off her and then made her turn on Lyra. And I think eventually the whole plan was to have Lyra versus Becky for the Intercontinental title. But my thing is, why does it always have to go back to Becky? Why can't they just make new stars? Why can't they just be like, okay, let's find someone, push them, have them feud with Lyra, instead of just bringing back Becky Lynch again?
Why is it always Bayley in the main event slot? Why is it always Rhea in the main event slot? Why is it always Liv in the main event slot? Why is it always Bianca Belair? It's because the name draws. You want to put legitimacy on the IC women's title. Becky Lynch is the person to fucking do that. All due respect to everybody in the women's division right now. Everyone's where they need to be. Becky was the only fucking wild card that can bring any legitimacy to that title, that can do something with it. Because if you bring Rhea down, if you bring Liv down, if you bring Bianca down, if you bring Bayley down, it is a step down right now because they are in the main event picture.
Yep.
Becky was the only audible to call to make that title relevant. And I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if they did something similar with the U.S. title. Even though Chelsea's had a hell of a fucking run with it. She's made something out of that.
Yeah.
But she hasn't made it relevant yet.
Right.
Did Becky make the NXT women's title any better than it already was? Or the feud with Trish Stratus? Did Becky help anything at all since, her last run in WWE?
So that's kind of a fair point. I would say the Trish Stratus feud was pointless in the beginning, so I had no hope for that.
Right.
But Becky getting the NXT women's title, I do feel put some legitimacy back on it, because remember, at one point, nobody in this room, including that motherfucker Elwood over there, gave a shit about NXT, especially when it got really colorful and it was 2.0.
Correct.
So for them to do that, I mean, they did the same thing with the NXT title and they put it on Dolph Ziggler.
Yep.
Becky was in the right place at the right time and was the right person to fucking do that. And it did bring legitimacy back to the NXT women's division. And since then, what has happened? That whole division has fucking thrived.
Yeah. And now, as much as, I might not be her hugest fan, she is a lot of people's biggest,
there's a lot of
people love her.
Oh yeah, people love Becky for sure.
I mean, she came out and they had a camera pan to this girl who was crying that she came back. You can't buy that kind of connection. So I understand why she's always kind of put in good spots because she's loved.
She's Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair was good.
Yes.
Damn. The other thing too that kind of irks my soul is the comparison that Lyra's always getting compared to Becky because they're both Irish and because Lyra has 2 belts now. They're like, oh, look.
Lyra was also trained by Becky. That's also overshadowed. It's basically teacher versus mentor right now.
Right.
And right now, for Lyra to get the win over Becky for the IC title will bring legitimacy to the title, but it'll also bring legitimacy to her career.
Yeah.
Not saying her career is not legitimate enough, but it will bring her to that next step to where when she's ready to drop that IC title and go into the World Women's Division, nobody can say, oh, she doesn't fucking deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm all for this if Lyra beats Becky.
And I think she will.
Then all of this would all actually mean something, I think.
Yeah, I think eventually she'll pass the torch to her.
Yeah. I mean, we got, 2-3 weeks until Backlash, I think they said. So they got a lot to do in such a short amount of time if they're going to pull the trigger there and not at Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
Which that would also be a good place to do it. Give it more of a build.
Yeah.
Either way. All right, we got anything else tonight?
Well, I mean, we kind of already talked about the main event at Monday Night Raw with Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. Did you guys want to go in a little bit more in depth about that?
Go for it.
Hey, man, I'm excited about this group now. I've been a big fan of all these guys. It's something unique, something different, something new. Braun Breaker's career is about to fucking skyrocket. I see him mowing over Roman Reigns. I mean, he's going to be a huge star.
I'm telling you, this is Evolution 2.0. They're once again rehashing something that's going to fucking work.
Yep.
Now, obviously, they're probably not going to call it Evolution. They'll have their own little catchy thing or whatever. But this is going to do to Seth Rollins what it did to fucking Triple H. Yes, Triple H was a multiple-time champion before Evolution, but this Evolution is what made Triple H the locker room leader on camera and off camera. And I feel this is going to be the same thing with Seth Rollins.
Yeah. I thought for sure Braun Breaker was going to be Jey Uso's first opponent after losing the Intercontinental title. I mean, I had a feeling he was going to be in the main event picture or in the main title picture, but I was not expecting this. But this is so much better than him going after Jey Uso.
Dude, I'm so excited for this. Really, more so for what it's going to do to Braun's career than for Seth.
And for the potential fourth guy.
Right.
Because it's got to be more than just Braun and Seth in this. There's got to be a third active roster member in order for this to work. Yeah. Otherwise,
a faction has to be at least three wrestlers. I mean, you can't just have a tag team, then they're just a tag team.
That's my point. There's got to be a third guy.
I mean, but it's a 2 versus 2 situation right now. Do you guys really think there has to be a third right now?
Yes, because the heels are always going to have the numbers advantage.
Yeah, and when whoever faces who at Backlash, I don't think they'll do Braun and Roman. Do you?
It would definitely main event.
It would definitely main event.
If Roman's on the marquee, it main events automatic.
Yeah,
but
I could see the fourth member helping Braun win that match. Like that's how he's revealed.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I mean, I gave my thought on it earlier, but something else has got to happen here for that to happen over here.
Yeah.
You said Austin Theory, right, Drayden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still so embedded in the A-Town Down Under thing. That's got to either break up quick or that's got to break up like as this new formation's happening.
As much as I would love that, I don't see them just putting Austin Theory, just shooting him straight up to the main event, especially after the way he's been booked the last few months. I think it has to be someone with like a lot of like potential, like Braun Breaker did. Like we all knew Braun Breaker was going to be huge. I mean, he was getting booked that way. But I mean, I can't really think of anyone else. Rusev?
Fuck no.
Fuck him.
Fuck all of him.
And I know I was just playing around earlier, but Logan Paul beat AJ Styles at WrestleMania.
That could be the catalyst for the fourth member, but it wouldn't be Logan.
Cross?
Mm-hmm. Think of that fucking promo he cut yesterday morning. That wasn't a Karrion Kross promo. That was a fucking killer Kross promo. Yeah. And what if this is a good way to fucking rehash that character in WWE? Obviously be under Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
But you put him with the biggest fucking faction, finally give him that fucking spot he deserves.
I'm good with it.
And at that point, you can bring fucking AJ into the babyface side. Because now Kross can blame AJ for this, since you didn't want to fucking do what was right. I'm going to do the fucking shit for you, and you're going to sit back and watch all this chaos, basically.
Damn, this wild, man. This
Dude, we could fantasy book all night long. I'm on my bullshit.
That was dope.